Hey folks, okay, in the last advisory class we learned how to factor. So now that leads to us solving a quadratic by factoring. We have these rules written somewhere, but they're written down for you again here. We want to get all terms on one side set equal to 0. Then we're going to try to factor using the usual factoring methods. We always want to look for greatest common factor first. Then we set each factor equal to 0 and solve it to get our answers. Okay, so get all terms on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 25x. It's positive, so I'm going to subtract 25x on both sides. So notice now I have a 0. And these will not combine. We're just going to do 30x squared minus 25x. Okay, and now we're going to factor this. Can I pull out a greatest common factor? Yes, I can. The greatest common factor is going to be 5x. So I'm going to set up a parenthesis. I'm going to divide all the terms by my greatest common factor. Don't forget your x. Remember, we're subtracting powers. So when I divide here, I get 6x. Here, the x's cancel, and I'm left with a 5. Okay? Now I set each factor equal to 0, and I'm going to solve it. Remember that 5x is a factor, so we're going to set 5x equal to 0. We're going to set 6x minus 5 equal to 0. Okay? Here, I divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 0. Okay. Here I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and I get 6x equals 5. My last step is to divide by 6, so I have x equals 5 over 6. Keep in mind that when we solve a quadratic, these are also the x-intercepts on the graph of this quadratic. They're also known as roots, and they're also known as zeros. Why are they known as zeros? Because it's where y equals 0. So keep in mind, they could say solve, they could say find the x-intercepts, find the roots, find the zeros. Okay? Notice if we have a square, that tells us we can have 2 solutions. Sometimes we'll have 1 solution, but we can have up to 2 solutions. Okay? We're going to skip this one because I believe, yeah, this one does not factor. Okay, so let's just come on down to some others. Okay, here I need to subtract 50 on both sides. So when I do, I'll get 2x squared minus 50 equals 0. I kind of just skipped that step. Can I pull out a greatest common factor? Yes, I can. Greatest common factor is 2. I'm going to set up a parenthesis, divide by my greatest common factor, and I have x squared minus 25. Okay. Can I factor this again? Yes, I can. This is a difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to set up my 2 parentheses with my plus sign and my minus. I'm going to bring my 2 down. X squared is going to break down into x and x. 25 breaks down into 5 and 5. And now I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. 2 is a factor. X plus 5 is a factor. X minus 5 is a factor. Okay? There is no x in this. It's called an extraneous root, so we're just going to cross it out. Here, if I subtract 5 on both sides, I get one of my solutions as negative 5. Here, if I add 5 to both sides, I get another solution of 5. All right, need to get everything on one side set equal to 0, so I'm going to add 9. Okay, be careful, these do not go together. We're just going to record everything in the correct order. Okay, now I'm going to factor this using our trinomial method. Okay, need the magic numbers here that multiply to 9 and add to 6. They are 3. Put your x's here also. Greatest common factors are x and 3, x and 3. I look here, both my signs are positive. Notice these are the same factors. So when I set them equal to 0 and solve them, I'm going to get the same number twice when I subtract 3 on both sides. So technically, I'm getting one answer, and that's actually called a double root. That's called a double root. And also, since this is an x-intercept, remember, that would be where the parabola just comes down and touches right there. It would look like that right there. Okie dokie. All right, let's flip over. Okay, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So now I have 6. Okay, we've got a trinomial. There is no greatest common factor here. So we're going to use our boxes. Multiply those together and get 36. And then the middle term is negative 13. Alright, I need my magic numbers that multiply to 36 and combine to negative 13. They are negative 9 and negative 4. When I multiply, I get positive 36. When I add, I get negative 13. Okay, greatest common factors here. Going to be 3b. Here it'll be 2. Here it's going to be 2b. And here it's going to be 3. So we've got 3b and 2 and 2b and 3. Both of my signs are going to be minus. I'm going to solve, so I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I'm going to skip that step. I'm going to add 2 to both sides, so that would give me 3b equals 2. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So one of my solutions is 2/3. Here I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and then I'm going to divide by 2. My other solution is 3/2. Okay. All right. So here we've got 2 things to move. So I'm going to add 3, and notice where I'm putting it. I'm going to put it kind of under the like terms. I need to add 5k squared. I'm going to put that over here with my k squared term. Okay. All of this cancels, making it equal to 0. That cancels. Negative 4 and positive 5 is a 1k squared. Bring down negative 8k. Okay. Greatest common factor here is k. That leaves me with k minus 8 in the parenthesis. We're going to set each factor. This is a factor. Set it equal to 0. K minus 8 equals 0. Notice there's nothing else to solve here. 0 is one of my answers. Here I'm going to add 8 to both sides, and 8 is my other answer. Okay. All right. Why don't you guys try these 2? And teachers, if you'll just pause the video, you guys try these 2, and then if y'all will come back, I will show you the answers. Okay, so here we can pull out a greatest common factor, and so 0 is one of my answers, and then when I solve this, negative 9/10. Here I need to subtract 5 on both sides, so that gives me a negative 12 there. And when I do my boxes, magic numbers are negative 18 and 2. Notice if the minus sign shows up twice, you want to go ahead and pull that out. That helps knowing that this has a minus sign in it when your signs are different, so that's going to have your plus sign. Set each one equal to 0. You get one of your answers is 3 and the other is negative 2/3. You guys have a good day.